Red Bull throws a tantrum as the FIA makes a new statement. George gets a huge boost as Aston plans to sign him over Max, and McLaren release interesting statement after Lando's crash. Let's get into the latest F1 news. George Russell celebrated a significant victory in the Canadian Grand Prix, but the aftermath saw Red Bull making headlines with a protest against his win. The drama unfolded immediately after the race at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, where Red Bull's team claimed Russell engaged in erratic driving during a safety car period, leading to their protest against the outcome. Hours after the race ended, Red Bull confirmed to the FIA that they had officially protested against Russell's victory following Max Verstappen's second-place finish. The details behind the protest were murky at first, but team principal Christian Horner shed light on their concerns. According to Horner, the protest centered around Russell's aggressive braking while approaching the chicane under the safety car, which unexpectedly allowed Verstappen to pass him momentarily, a move regarded as against the rules. Onboard footage appeared to support the claim that Russell checked his right rearview mirror just before braking hard, leading to discussions between Verstappen and his race engineer. Verstappen expressed the surprise at Russell's sudden braking, emphasizing the unexpected nature of the maneuver. Red Bull claimed that this action fell well outside the permitted distance behind the safety car, prompting their formal protest to the FIA. The team focused on accusations that Russell violated Article 55.5 of the sporting regulations, stating he braked unnecessarily and erratically under safety car conditions. Additionally, Red Bull suggested he breached Article 12.2.1.m of the International Sporting Code, which addresses unsportsmanlike behavior. As both teams presented their arguments to the stewards, Red Bull brought forth telemetry data demonstrating throttle and brake inputs, further asserting that Russell was aware of Verstappen's position when he braked. They alleged this strategic behavior was aimed at prompting an investigation into Verstappen's temporary overtaking, which Red Bull characterized as having unsportsmanlike intent. Following a thorough deliberation process, the FIA stewards ultimately delivered their verdict. They ruled in favor of George Russell, dismissing Red Bull's protests and allowing him to retain his victory. The implications of this decision not only affected the race results, but also sparked discussions about the regulations surrounding driver conduct during safety car periods. As the dust settled from the Canadian Grand Prix, fans and commentators alike reflected on the incident, debating the nuances of racing etiquette and the strictness of various racing regulations. The resolution of this protest highlighted the ongoing tensions and rivalries within Formula One, especially between top teams like Red Bull and Mercedes. In the fast-paced world of Formula One, each race brings its own set of controversies and discussions, and this one was no exception. As we look ahead to the next races, the story of George Russell's hard-fought victory, alongside the scrutiny placed upon the actions behind the wheel, remains a talking point among fans and experts following the sport. With high stakes and intense rivalries, the next chapter in this saga is sure to unfold as the season progresses. Red Bull argued that since it was clear the race would finish under the safety car, George Russell didn't need to manage his tire and brake temperatures, thus claiming his braking was unwarranted. However, Russell opened Mercedes's defense by stating that periodic braking during safety car periods is standard practice to keep the tires and brakes at optimal temperatures. As he closed in on the safety car, Russell gestured for the driver to pick up the pace. He clarified that he braked for two reasons: to maintain a safe distance from the safety car and to ensure his tire and brake temperatures were in check. He confirmed he checked his mirrors first, only applying the brakes when he saw Verstappen positioned to the side rather than directly behind him. Russell's telemetry showed he used a moderate brake pressure of 30 psi, which he argued was not extensive. He maintained that Verstappen should have anticipated some braking, noting it's not the leading car's job to watch the following driver. Furthermore, Russell mentioned that his radio communication about the overtake wasn't intended to prompt any investigation, and he had no way of knowing if the race would end under the safety car. Supporting Russell's position, his team members, Meadows and Chauvelin, stated that the communication was purely factual and no complaint was filed with race control, since Verstappen regained his position. They also shared telemetry data, revealing similar braking patterns from both drivers, strengthening Russell's argument that his actions were typical. Meanwhile, Malyon reported that race control had observed the incident but deemed it unnecessary for further referral to the stewards due to the customary nature of braking under the safety car. Ultimately, the FIA stewards dismissed Red Bull's protests, finding that Russell's braking was neither erratic nor unsportsmanlike. In a post-race comment to Sky F1, Verstappen mentioned that both he and Russell were trying to signal the safety car to increase speed as it was going relatively slow at 120 kilometers per hour. He noted that Russell's attempts to speed up led to some misunderstandings. For Russell, his close victory, just milliseconds ahead of Verstappen, was critical, as a penalty could have jeopardized his win. As the two incidents unfolded, including a separate clash between McLaren drivers that resulted in penalties, tensions remained high in the paddock, leaving fans eager for what's next in this dramatic racing season. Lando Norris found himself in a controversial moment during the Canadian Grand Prix when he collided with his McLaren teammate, Oscar Piastri. This incident raised eyebrows, especially after Damon Hill, the 1996 Formula One world champion, criticized Norris for what he deemed an unnecessary maneuver. As the race approached its conclusion, both drivers were battling fiercely for fourth position. Unfortunately, this intense competition led to contact, resulting in Norris retiring due to damage. The aftermath of this collision could have significant implications for his world championship aspirations. In the closing laps, with just 3 to go, Norris believed he'd identified a gap down the inside of Piastri as they raced towards the opening chicane. But that gap didn't exist the way he envisioned, leading to him hitting Piastri's rear wheel before crashing into the wall. While Piastri continued and ultimately finished fourth, Norris faced a disappointing retirement. Immediately after the race, he took full responsibility for the collision over team radio, acknowledging his role in the mishap. Damon Hill reacted strongly to the incident, stating his disapproval via a post on X, emphasizing that it was an unnecessary move. This prompted a fan to question Norris's racecraft, suggesting that although he is fast, he lacks the patience to capitalize on opportunities later in the race. This comment caught Hill's attention, and he agreed, indicating a growing concern regarding Norris's ability to handle high-pressure situations tactfully. These incidents are crucial as we track the McLaren dynamic this season. Currently, Piastri is ahead in the championship standings with a substantial lead over Norris, having scored 12 points compared to Lando's 0 in Canada. With 10 rounds already completed this season, Piastri's position has strengthened, expanding his lead from 10 to 22 points. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen, who finished second in Canada, has reduced his gap to Piastri to 43 points, intensifying the battle at the top. As the season progresses, all eyes will be on how Norris responds to this setback and whether he can improve his racecraft under pressure. The upcoming races will be pivotal not only for his championship hopes, but also for maintaining harmony within the McLaren team. As the thrilling F1 season progresses, McLaren's team dynamic is coming into sharp focus, especially with the rising rivalry between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. After their collision in Canada, team principal Andrea Stella shared insights on whether they might reconsider their hands-off approach to team orders. Stella emphasized the importance of allowing both drivers the freedom to race, stating, "The value of racing is to respect that competitive spirit." He believes that intervention should only occur if there's a clear necessity. Rather than managing every close call from the pit wall, he indicated that continuous control could stifle the very essence of competitive racing. The team aims to grant both Piastri and Norris the opportunity to compete based on their merits. Stella pointed out, "We want them to be in a position at the end of the season that reflects their performance." He values the authenticity of racing, where results stem from driver skill, not team tactics. However, he acknowledged the complexities involved. "It's not a straightforward exercise, but we strive to do our best." He reassured fans that their recent incident wouldn't alter their fundamental approach. If anything, it reinforces the need for caution between the two drivers, highlighting the fine margins that can lead to contact on track. Stella noted the need for drivers to manage their racing proximity carefully, especially in challenging conditions like those involving DRS zones. Moving forward, McLaren has a break to regroup before the racing calendar resumes, starting with the Austrian Grand Prix. In the world of motorsport, each race writes its own story, and this rivalry between Piastri and Norris is no exception. With contrasting opinions from figures like Jacques Villeneuve regarding the incident, the discourse around accountability and strategy continues to grow. As we await further developments, Lando Norris's telemetry data could provide deeper insights into their collision, adding layers of understanding to this already complex narrative. The eyes of the F1 community will undoubtedly be watching closely as the season unfolds. Could George Russell be making a move from Mercedes to Aston Martin for the F1 2026 season? That's the exciting possibility currently making waves in the motorsport world. Aston Martin is reportedly showing interest in signing the young driver, who has been with Mercedes since his transfer from Williams in 2022. Russell is now entering the last 6 months of his current Mercedes contract, and with that ticking clock, discussions around his future are heating up. Despite ongoing speculation surrounding a potential blockbuster signing of Max Verstappen for F1 2026, Russell remains optimistic about negotiating an extension with Mercedes. However, as his contract expiration draws near, it's clear that he's also exploring alternative options, particularly Aston Martin. Notably, while McLaren drivers Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri are locked into long-term contracts, Russell was seen chatting with McLaren's team bosses during the recent Australian Grand Prix. Such interactions have led to rumors about his future, as Valentino Rossi once said, "When there's smoke, there's fire." Complicating matters further, the paddock is abuzz with talk of Verstappen's future too. Would he transfer to Aston Martin? Or could he instead take Russell's place at Mercedes if that team decides to pursue him? It's an intriguing scenario that could shake up everything we know about the driver market heading into 2026. Russell's network is vast. He was spotted greeting Flavio Briatore, the executive advisor of Alpine, at a recent race in China. In another twist, he reportedly had discussions with Christian Horner of the Red Bull team, who has openly praised Russell, mentioning that overlooking his talents would be a mistake for any contender. Now, let's turn our attention to Aston Martin. Even though the team finds itself in 9th position in the Constructors' Championship after 9 races of the F1 2025 season, they have plans to ascend the grid in the coming years. A key component of this strategy includes a works partnership with Honda, who currently supply Red Bull engines. This collaboration is set to kick in with the new regulations for F1 2026, potentially positioning Aston Martin as a formidable competitor. Furthermore, the engineering powerhouse Adrian Newey has joined Aston Martin as their managing technical partner. His resume boasts over 200 race wins and an astonishing tally of 26 drivers and constructors titles. He made a memorable first appearance trackside at the Monaco Grand Prix and is already hard at work developing Aston Martin's first car for this new era of Formula One. It's also worth noting that George Russell has roots with Aston Martin. His Formula One journey initially began with them, then known as Force India, back in 2017. He made his debut during practice sessions at the Brazilian and Abu Dhabi Grand Prix before officially entering F1 with Williams 2 years later. With the stakes so high, the potential for Russell to switch teams adds a thrilling element to an already competitive landscape. Fans worldwide are eagerly watching how these developments unfold and whether Russell will step into a new role with Aston Martin or remain loyal to his Mercedes family. The buzz surrounding George Russell continues as rumors swirl about Aston Martin's potential interest. Just earlier this season, the team made headlines with a staggering $300 million bid for Max Verstappen ahead of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. However, Aston Martin has made it clear they are fully committed to their current driver lineup, featuring Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll, both under contract until 2026. A spokesperson emphasized that while speculation in the driver market is typical, the focus for Aston Martin is on providing a more consistent and competitive vehicle for their existing drivers. With this commitment, both Alonso and Stroll are expected to deliver impressive performances. Shifting gears to Russell's future, it's believed that finalizing a contract extension with Mercedes is his top priority as the team gears up for the new regulations set for 2026. Recent reports indicate that only one engine manufacturer is adequately prepared for these changes, while the rest are struggling with the development of new power units. Mercedes has historically dominated during major engine regulation shifts, securing 8 consecutive Constructors' Championships since 2014. Team boss Toto Wolff has expressed a strong alignment with Russell regarding their future plans, hinting that Russell could see a new contract sooner than expected. When asked about the timeline, Wolff assured that Russell wouldn't have to wait long for a resolution. As Russell celebrates his recent victory at the Canadian Grand Prix, the timing aligns perfectly with his ongoing contract negotiations. This win not only boosts his confidence, but also solidifies his position within the Mercedes team. In the racing world, competition is fierce, and drivers are constantly working to secure their futures. While the potential for Russell to join Aston Martin has generated excitement, his recent achievements with Mercedes further reinforce his value to the team. The drama of driver movements continues, keeping fans on the edge of their seats as they anticipate what's next in the world of Formula One. Will Russell remain loyal to Mercedes, or will he make the leap to Aston Martin? Only time will tell. Stay tuned for more updates on this story and all the latest from the fast-paced world of Formula One. Could Charles Leclerc leave Ferrari? That's the burning question being discussed in the F1 community. According to Sky F1 analyst Martin Brundle, it's entirely understandable for Leclerc to consider his future if he doesn't start seeing regular wins or contend for the championship soon. Recently, Ferrari has found itself at the center of some significant speculation, especially surrounding longtime driver Charles Leclerc and team principal Fred Vasseur. The speculation began when reports surfaced that Ferrari had approached Red Bull's team boss Christian Horner. This stirred up not only rumors about Vasseur's position within Ferrari, but also raised concerns about the team's overall performance following a disappointing start to the current season. While Ferrari promptly dismissed these rumors when approached for comment, another narrative is brewing. With the upcoming F1 2026 season set to be a major turning point in the sport's history, considering the introduction of new, smaller, and more agile cars powered by innovative engines, the stakes are rising for drivers like Leclerc. Leclerc signed a contract to remain with Ferrari beyond 2024, expressing optimism about several more seasons with the team. However, as he looks ahead to the impending regulations, doubts have crept into his mind. The fear for Leclerc is becoming a reality. What if he ends up with a struggling Ferrari in the new era? Brundle weighed in on the potential upheaval at Ferrari, asserting that while the chatter about Vasseur may be unfounded, there could be legitimacy to the talks surrounding Leclerc. Speaking at the Canadian Grand Prix, Brundle noted that Leclerc is indeed under contract until the end of 2029 and is considered a key figure for Ferrari. However, whispers of Leclerc considering other options for the 2026 season are gaining momentum. This combination of contract obligations and future uncertainties creates a uniquely complex situation for Leclerc. He's heavily invested in Ferrari's success but can't ignore the reality of a new regulatory landscape that could redefine competitiveness among teams. As we look ahead, fans and pundits alike will be eager to see how Leclerc's choices unfold and what they mean for both his future and the future of Ferrari in this pivotal moment in Formula One. Keep an eye on the developments in the upcoming races. They may very well shape the trajectory of Leclerc's career and the fate of Ferrari as a team. As we dive deeper into the world of Formula One, Charles Leclerc's recent comments have sparked discussions among fans and analysts alike. When asked about his future with Ferrari, Leclerc expressed surprise over rumors suggesting he might seek opportunities elsewhere. Despite the speculation, he remains committed to his role at Scuderia Ferrari, stating, "I do not intend to walk away." His focus is clear. He wants to help Ferrari return to its former glory. Leclerc's journey with Ferrari began in his junior days, making his F1 debut with the Ferrari-powered Alfa Romeo team in 2018 before officially joining Scuderia the next season. This deep-rooted connection showcases his dedication, but he understands that results are crucial. If he can't get a championship and regular wins at Ferrari, sooner or later he's going to have to move on, analysts point out, nudging the reality that loyalty must sometimes bend to performance. Meanwhile, Martin Brundle made some keen observations about Lando Norris, asserting that the McLaren star has been inconsistent. Brundle noted, "Lando seems to have weekends which are utterly dominant, or it just all falls apart." This inconsistency could prove challenging not only for Norris, but for McLaren as they aim for top-tier performance. Moreover, Leclerc faced criticism after the Canadian Grand Prix, where he bluntly admitted to his mistakes during qualifying. "I fucked it up completely," he stated, illustrating his frustration and the high stakes involved in each race. Such honesty might resonate with fans, but it also raises questions about Ferrari's strategy and decision-making on the track, particularly given their previous clash over race strategy. As both Norris and Leclerc navigate their paths in this ultra-competitive environment, the pressure mounts. Each weekend presents an opportunity to build their legacies, but also the threat of disappointment. The F1 landscape is constantly evolving, and with it, the narratives surrounding these talented drivers. Stay tuned for more insights as we follow Leclerc's journey and Brundle's verdicts in the upcoming races. It's a pivotal time for Ferrari and the drivers striving for championships in this thrilling sport.